Hey guys, welcome to the Dawg House Podcast. On this week's episode, we got Alex Crittenden from the fifth quarter on X as we discuss Georgia's brutal beating, dominating, beat down, thrashing, what other adjectives that Georgia did to Florida State in the Orange Bowl, 63-3. We discussed that. Also look at some of the transfer portal and the dogs that are declaring for the NFL draft. And we give a score prediction and preview of Washington against Michigan in the national title game coming up on Monday. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the podcast. That'll really help us out. Got another great return guest. He's been on with us, I believe, twice before. Alex Crittenden from the fifth quarter, Georgia. How are we doing today?
Good. It's good to be back.
Thanks so much. How's New Year's and everything? First off,
It was pretty uneventful. My fiance, she's a nurse, so she had to work
okay.
The night after New Year's Eve. So we just kind of chilled at home, watched some football earlier in the day and just hung out.
That's the way to do it. And then there's some great games that we'll jump into for New Year's. Yeah, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, first off, wanted to jump right into it. So Georgia, domination, beat down. What other adjectives you can have for Florida State? 63-3, just the beating in the Orange Bowl. If you would have told me we would have seen Jackson Muschamp do a 14-yard run, I would have said, "Hey, you're on drugs or some other things." Yep, that's right. I love that from Muschamp. That was great. But I think it showed you where culture was for Georgia. They really wanted this game. Florida State was left out, kind of got their feelings hurt, kind of felt bad for Mike Norvell. I mean, I'm sure he tried to get most of the guys to play. It's just a complete beating, not a good look. I'm sure the committee's like, well, we got that one right. But it also for Georgia fans, I think it showed that we thought we should have been one of the four teams in the playoffs. But what was your thoughts on the game?
We beat, kind of a practice squad, if you will, of a team from Florida State. It's unfortunate that a lot of their good players decided not to play, move on to the NFL draft. But with going 13-0 in a Power 5 conference, it's in my mind, it can be kind of hard to blame them. As a Georgia fan, I was excited about the game. I'm glad we won, of course, and everything. But you did kind of feel bad for Florida State eventually, in that game. And Mike Norvell probably did everything he could to get those guys to play and to rally around. But that's just a really hard situation to be in for a coach. The players did their job and weren't rewarded a playoff spot, which is hard. But at the end of the day, I think they got the four teams right. Both those games yesterday were fantastic. Very close games, came down to the wire for both of them. So it was just a hard situation for Norvell. But Georgia's young guys look extremely impressive, very good all across the field. Daniel Harris played good after he decided to come back, from the transfer portal. Dalen Everett had an interception, caps off his season in a good way. And of course, Malachi Starks looked like the best player on the field like he usually does. And, sent out the older guys the right way. So good day all around for Georgia football.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then looking at the stats, Carson Beck only played one half. He looked great, 13-18, 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. Thought Gunnar Stockton looked great. I was surprised to see him in after halftime, but I was like, all right, let's go. Even though I believe it was 42-3. Kendall Milton couldn't be stopped. 9 carries, 104 for 2 touchdowns. I believe he was player or MVP, player of the game. And then the fact that they ran for 372 yards, just couldn't stop them. Roderick Robinson, 10 yards a carry. Also, I think I read a stat where even in the second half, with all the backups in, as they could say, and I know Florida State was shorthanded playing with the JV team, I think they still only gave up 44 yards.
Yep,
with the backups. So I think if both teams would have been fully loaded, the whole team, I still think Georgia would have maybe won this game by 2 scores or so.
I completely agree with that.
Jordan Travis, I know that was a terrible injury, but I know some people were like, "Hey, did Georgia run it up?" I mean, you put all the backups in, and they're still running for 10 yards a carry. What can you do?
I saw Aaron Murray say on his podcast that when you put backups in, you want them just to run the offense. Defending coaches understand that you can't really just slow it down. Those are important reps for young guys to get. So I don't think they ran it up by any means. They just ran the offense.
Completely, Gary. And then I know also another distraction. I know Florida State was looking at possibly trying to get out of the ACC. I know that's a whole other conversation, but just fact that Georgia's headed in the right direction. We didn't really get where we wanted to this year, but still a great year, 13-1. I believe that's Kirby Smart's seventh straight win. You can say he's still really bought in with the culture, but still a great win, and future's looking bright. Spring practice will be here before you know it. And we got to get through maybe a little bit more of the portal, dodging a couple of days of that, and we got the NFL draft who declares and kind of see what Georgia looks like as a team next year. But all in all, 13-1, still great time to be a dog. So yeah, still a great win.
Absolutely. Any other year with one loss, we'd probably be in the playoff, but it was a weird year this year. I do think we probably would have three-peated if we got in.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then looking at some of the NFL drafts, I think there's our draft who's declaring for the draft, which dogs. Everything's quietly kind of trickling in. Brock Bowers yesterday, I know he's holding out. I know everybody had a little bit of hope maybe he would come back. Lad McConkey, I could have went either way on him. It would have been great to have him back, but I can't blame the kid. I know he only played I think he played 8 or 9 games this year. He was banged up. Kendall Milton, Dejon Edwards, Rosemary Jack Saint, Tyke Smith, Javon Bullard, Kamari Laster. So I know we're going to be talented but young in the secondary. So just want to get your thoughts. Were you surprised on any of these moves, kind of as expected? Is there anyone else you're kind of holding out on, or
I never get upset when players declare for the draft. That's a dream of theirs since they were a kid.
Mhm.
A lot of these kids dream to go to the NFL, and dream to play college ball and everything like that. But that is the ultimate goal, is to get to the next level. I really thought Javon Bullard was really contemplating on coming back. I'm sure that was a really hard decision for him.
Mhm.
But I think where he's at right now, it'd be hard to put more on film for him to increase his stock, decrease his stock. I think he's going to go where he was meant to go either way. But the fact that a lot of these guys came down the wire with their decision just goes to show how important Georgia is to them. So I'm really happy for all of them, especially Cedric Van Pran. Hopefully he's the number one center taken. He's a beast.
He is. He could arguably be Georgia's greatest center because I know had a lot of them. Is it Ben? Was it Ben Jones? Ben Jones
Ben Jones,
and
David Andrews,
that's right. Yeah.
yeah, Lamont Galliard is a place. I don't know if he plays with the Cardinals still or not, but he was a good one.
Oh yeah. And I think the fact that I think he was a part of, I guess he was there 4 years of getting 50 wins, which is
Yeah.
a crazy number. But with all that being said, with New Year's that was just happened and all the transfer portal, and if you're a Florida State fan, it might have been good to wash down some of your sorrows with great sponsor of the show, Viva Tequila Seltzer.com. 0 carbs, 0 sugar. I actually drank some of these the other day for the game. Hardly no hangover, which is great. But great sponsor of the show to get 20% off Dawg House 20. My personal favorite is watermelon flavored. Elderberry and huckleberry is great. But 20% off Dawg House 20 for a great sponsor. Check them out, vivatequilaseltzer.com, and I believe it's Viva Seltzer on IG as well. And then we were talking about briefly off air before he came on. Looks like Julian Humphrey is going to stay again. I want to get your thoughts on. It'd be great to have the 5-star DB. Looks like he's kind of been back and forth. I'm sure Kirby and staff's trying to talk him back into it, but it'd be great to have him back. What have you been hearing on that?
I think he's a really, really good player. He came into the Missouri game first time really playing and was an absolute beast. Got hurt, unfortunately, didn't get to see much of him at the later of the year. Probably could have used him in the SC championship and all that good stuff. But I think he's a really good player. I think he's at a depth piece. He could probably be a starter next year. Immediate playing time at the University of Georgia, which is very, very good look for these NFL scouts and stuff like that. So I like that he's staying. It was weird him kind of going back and forth, but that's just the day and age of college football, I guess.
Yeah, and I also heard that Texas might be after him. So I think him being a Texas kid, so maybe we can hold him off. But yeah, I hope he stays. It'll be added depth, and he's going to play. He's going to be in the rotation next year. So good for him. Hopefully he'll be
Mhm.
able to heal up from, I believe it was that collarbone injury that he had.
Yep.
Right. Also, we had great games on New Year's Day. It was the Rose Bowl where Michigan beat Alabama. I will say I'm an SEC guy, but I was pulling for Alabama. Still a little salty after Bama beating us, but a very close game. I know Milroy's bad run up the middle, maybe not the best play call. You can tell Saban was frustrated after that, and then the center, I forget his name. The center had issues all game with just
Chris
low snap.
McLaughlin
That's right.
transferring. He's already transferring.
Is he in the transfer portal? I'm sure
Yeah.
he had talking to. Yeah, not surprised at all. Hey, anytime you mention the center more than once during a game, probably got some problems.
Yep.
But good for Michigan. Um, I think I was just hearing that Jim Harbaugh's been, I guess, talked to Los Angeles Chargers more than once. I guess as a Michigan fan, I wish like, hey, can you handle all this like maybe after the national title game? Need to
Jim
be
Harbaugh works on his own time. He's done that his entire life. It seems like he's going to do his thing. He does not care what anyone else thinks.
he is. It's kind of like you're happily married, and hey, I'm gonna go on some dates all of a sudden. But and then also a great game, which I was surprised that they're a scrappy team, able to get it done, win close games. But Washington Huskies defeat Texas Longhorns. I was surprised in that one. That game was ended up being a little closer than I thought. I think Texas had a chance at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Also seeing AD Mitchell, like what did he catch? He caught a touchdown
Fifth,
catch in five.
fifth straight playoff
That's
touchdown
impressive.
catch. I
If
thought he
he,
was going to catch the game winner. I tweeted that out. I was
yeah,
like dead set. He's going to mess around and catch a game winner like he's done 3 times now.
exactly.
Seems like.
I think him getting targeted to be a great game, but just great for college football. With college football's taking a bunch of hits this year with NIL, transfer portal, conference land, a lot of stuff going on. But great to have two playoff games that are actually close. So that was good for college football. And looking at the big national title game coming up on Monday, Washington versus Michigan. Looks like Michigan is an early 4.5 point spread. So wanted to get your thoughts on that. Maybe give us a pick.
Everyone, it feels like when it comes to Washington, picks the opposite team that's more physical and better D line up front, but Washington just wins games.
Yeah.
That being said, I still feel like Michigan has a very obvious edge with their run game.
Yeah.
Two backs, I don't think Oregon didn't have a run game like Michigan. Texas could have had a run game like Michigan, but they went away from it, it seemed like. But Washington still just comes out and wins these games. But I'll go Michigan like very close. Very close. I think it's going to be a really, really good game.
Yeah, completely agree. I think Michigan having probably, I think it's statistically the best defense in the nation. Great. They kind of run it at you. And it's kind of a gritty game, kind of a boring game. And I know Washington's more finesse. Michael Penix had a great year slinging it around. And also, I think I heard in that Texas game that they have one of the worst pass defenses, Washington. But I do think it'll be close within a one-score game. But I'll go like Michigan. I like that as well. Maybe a late touchdown just because they got a better defense, better in the trenches. 28-24, something like that, but it should be a great game in Houston.
I think both teams might get to 30. I think both teams could
I can
get
see
to
that.
30.
Could be last team with the ball. I could see that.
Yeah, Penix is just having a not he hasn't, haven't had a Joe Burrow statistical season, but like he's having that like crazy season where he is just the best pure passer in college football right now, and he's playing outside of his mind, especially against Texas. That was really, really fun to watch.
He is. And then looking ahead into the off season, anything you're looking forward to before spring practice? I know we'll see who's left and who didn't go in the portal. Do you think we're safe on the coaching staff wise? Do you see like Glenn Schumann or any of our coaches going anywhere? You think we're pretty set there?
I Hearing LSU fired their whole defensive staff, I'm hoping that Will Muschamp doesn't get taken. That's just a random thought I had when I saw that, because Will Muschamp's in that co-spot, but I don't think he would make a lateral move like that. I think Will Muschamp's done moving around at this point in his career. I think he'd be the one to stay. Glenn Schumann might be the one to go. But I've heard Glenn Schumann is enjoying his role, doesn't really have any interest in being a head coach
Hmm.
anytime soon.
I mean, in Georgia, I'm sure they'll give him a bump. They'll pay him whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be more or less of horizontal move or maybe even a step down. Even though I know we're
Yep.
in Georgia here going to LSU unless he likes projects. Um, I think Dale McGee's probably always wanted to be a coach, but I'm not sure what kind of coaching vacancies there out there.
He could
Um,
probably go be an OC somewhere, but I don't know if he leaves for a non-SEC job.
yeah, and I hope we can hang on to Todd Hartley as long as we can. The guy's a beast
Oh
on
yeah.
recruiting. And
Same with
then
Trey Scott too. I don't want Trey Scott to leave either.
yeah,
He's one you could watch out for the LSU coordinator job as well.
yeah. And then I got a feeling Kirby and his coaching tree would have somebody right away getting a D-line coach. I'm sure he's got his old school Rolodex or he's got his guys lined up.
Oh yeah. He seems like he's always prepared to make the right hire whenever he can.
Oh, yeah, sure. And then yeah, spring practice will be any right before we let you go here, any maybe key matchups or anything or key position battles in the spring coming up. I know it'll be Carson Beck and maybe who his backup is. Be good to see Ryan Puglisi. I always say his name wrong, but
Yeah. I really am looking forward to see how Carson develops with his deep ball.
yeah,
I think his deep ball this year was a little inconsistent, from time to time. Hoping he can shore that up. It looked really good in the Orange Bowl already, so he's already made improvements there, and he's just a great pure passer of the football. I'm excited to see how he develops into year two as a starter. Hopefully, he makes a big jump like a lot of these guys do.
right,
And I really would love to see Anthony Evans get a shot.
yeah.
He's a lightning in a bottle. Anytime he carries the ball, he's the fastest guy on the field.
Yeah, that was one of the best ones when they snuck him in there in the Bama game, and he had that like kind of big run on the punt return. Yeah, he's got some wheels, and I think he caught a touchdown in the Orange Bowl as well. So yeah, he looks
Yeah,
good. And I'll give Bobo another year in the system with Carson Beck and the other guys, and they're going to have some good. I know it's going to be hard replacing Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers, but I think we got some guys coming up.
London Humphreys could be that Lad McConkey replacement. Ra Thomas is going to probably see a more expanded role.
Yeah,
That guy catches any contested ball you throw to him, it feels like.
yeah, and I'm kind of excited about is it Corey Thompson, Corey, the guy from Michigan, not Michigan, but from Miami that came in. I think I'm saying his
Oh,
name.
Colby
Kobe.
Young.
Yeah, Kobe Young. Yeah, I said his name. Kobe Young. Yeah, he looks like a Lawrence Cager type. Big long
Yes.
man can throw it up. 6'5", big kid. Got
Yep.
some good catches.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Very excited
And
for
then
that.
Alex, how can we follow you on the on social media? We got you right here,
Oh,
fifth quarter.
yeah. Feel free to go on there, FQ_UGA. Give me a follow. I try my best to keep up with all of the games, in-game live tweets. The Orange Bowl did get a little out of hand, so it was tough to keep up.
Yeah.
Um, but I always post predictions, kind of announce, NFL draft declares and recruitment news and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. Look like you went a little viral here, getting over 82,000 on this one back in September 20th. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was halftime of the South Carolina game.
Gotcha. That's
Posted
awesome.
the Brock Bowers one, and I go on there and banter with a lot of fans and stuff like that. One guy tried to tell me Carson Beck was terrible, and it was right after Milroe just absolutely played horrible in the Rose Bowl. So,
Yeah,
as a
we,
Bama
we
fan,
we'll have them on the road next year. I had to go back because I got trolled a lot after our loss our Georgia Alabama reaction video. So I kind of had to go in and kept a couple of receipts and say, "Hey, it's a tough loss last night against Michigan. I can't relate because we put a beating on Michigan a couple of years ago. Of course, they came back with Kirby's 1-5.
yeah, they just love the 1-5 thing. Love it.
I actually went back and looked today. You might didn't know that. So Georgia's, I believe, 1-8. But before that, Georgia actually won three straight: 2006, 2002, and then a 2004, 5. Anyway, we had three straight. I didn't know that. So if you look at it, we're 4-8 in the last 12. Still great, but better than this whole 1-8 thing. So
Yeah,
I know this is before
exactly.
Saban,
Matthew
but
Stafford
actually,
got him. Got him
Yeah,
in Tuscaloosa.
I believe that was Saban's first year he got him, I believe, right?
I think so, in 2007 or 2006. It was either
Yeah.
Saban wasn't there just yet,
Right.
or it was his first year.
Yeah. So we can, I know they have, they have beat us recently, but can always go back and we'll get them next year on the road. Got to circle that one. Got to try to beat them with that brutal schedule. I'm hoping maybe like 10-2, 11-1 from next year and get in the playoffs with
I
that.
think we'll go 11-1. I think we're going to be just fine. Carson, thank goodness he's coming back with those road games. Goodness.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of talent coming in transfer, but we'll see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but really appreciate you coming on again today. And
Yeah, thanks for having me.
yeah, man,
Always a
appreciate it.
pleasure.
Yeah, we'll have to do it again down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, go Dogs. Appreciate it.
Go Dogs.